Do you want a game that is buggy and unfinished, with false promises and delays on fixing issues? Are you wanting to mix things up and go on a date night with the lady, but you feel the need to do mindless weekly grinds to not fall behind in your video game? With live service gaming, the player can put pay in wall. Just listen to what one of our happy customers has to say. At first, I didn't like stealing my mom's credit card for V-Bucks, but then I realized I need to have the Thunder Thigh Kunli skin. You too can have live service. Just dial 1-800-LIVE-SERV and get your first 3 days free there after receiving random charges of $69.69 because you forgot to remove your credit card from our subscription.
Disclaimer: we are not responsible if the game you purchased is not playable. Please wait, as it will be 1 to 2 years before we resolve these issues. If you are requesting a refund, please don't bother, as we will do anything to keep your money. Thank you for your sacrifice.
What a great infomercial. Let's thank the boys in the studio for putting this together. What's up, guys? If you're a smart boy, you probably figured out that we're starting the first topic today with live service games. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with games being iconic? Well, slow your ropes, I'm getting there. Do you guys remember whenever games were released in a finished state? Games like Halo 3, Battlefield Bad Company, Fallout New Vegas, Call of Duty 4, some pretty badass titles I just listed off, and rightfully so. These titles were released in a finished state because they had to be. Personally, I think the reason for this was due to these titles only being available through physical copies at the time of their release. And if this was the only way to distribute the product as a studio, it had to be finished, holding studios to a higher standard. Now, don't get me wrong, there were still some updates and patches that helped improve these titles, but they weren't to the point where the game was unplayable at launch. And if developers did release an unpolished game, they would have to wait for the next chance to make it up to the player base with the next title. Halo 2 was a good example of this. Developers at Bungie admitted that there was a lot of flaws with the game due to rushed development time. However, they made up for it with Halo 3, finally bringing a polished version of what they initially wanted with its predecessor. Now, before anyone thinks I'm ragging on Halo 2, calm down, I love this game, but it had some flaws, from graphical issues to audio issues. However, the core of the game carried itself to success. All I'm saying is, the developers couldn't afford to make that mistake again, which ultimately refined Halo 3 into such a great game. I've come to realize that live service just doesn't hold studios accountable for their games, letting them cut corners and giving us unfinished products for the price tag that doesn't reflect that. I'm starting to miss the feeling of being excited for a game because I'm already preparing myself for a mess. Moving on to something that I've noticed recently, staples have slowly faded away. I'm talking about the staples in games that made our favorite titles have their own identity, like Gears of War with the Lancer rifle, and I couldn't leave out the one and only Carmine family. God, I hope I get to meet your father in E-Day, and I hope he shares the same love for bacon.
Oh, bacon.
Video games used to have staple characters to staple enemies and even staple guns. These features were specific to that world, and that's what made the world so special and gave us such a great experience that no other game could copy, even if they tried. The reason behind this is because studios wanted to push the boundaries of what made a good game, not letting outside influences dictate and shift the focus away from creating a quality title from start to finish. As much as I want a Battlefield Bad Company 3, there's also part of me that realizes that's the problem. We have been conditioned to want the feeling of what we used to have when we were playing video games back then. The larger studios realize that, so what do? They give us our 21st main series of Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, coming out this year. There's something I think might resonate with you guys. I think it's the fact that studios are giving us more, but at the same time giving us less. What I mean by that is that they're giving us higher quantity of games and features and complexity. But as we know, when you shift your focus on quantity, you tend to lose sight of quality. Games are becoming overly complicated and straying away from simple, fun features that improve upon the game itself. One thing I want to see developers do is push the envelope, take a financial risk, be creative, be original, go after something that is just so ambitious that you know that yes, this game will be successful and the shareholders can be happy too, as well as the player base. I'm sure there's a happy medium that can be reached here. I just know that greed is just kind of getting in the way at this point. And I really wish studios, and I hope studios in the future, would be able to just put aside that and just create an iconic game again. I miss iconic games. I miss the games where we cherish the characters. We remember those characters. We remember the guns that are in the game because they're staples to the game. game, just iconic moments in the game. Whether if it's features in the campaign or on multiplayer, it doesn't have to be overly complicated. They need to stop overly complicating everything and just simplify it and make it just dumb and fun. But those are just my thoughts. Now it's time for your thoughts, guys. Go in the comments section below. Let me know what you think is preventing gaming from being iconic again. Also, I want to apologize for my poor upload schedule, guys. I know that it's been a while since I made my last video. I do plan to try to make an attempt to get a video out every 2 weeks. However, I've been traveling a lot, so it has put a dent in that. But going forward, you know, every 2 weeks, I'm going to be trying to get a new video out for you guys. So hold on. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your patience, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.